The following Earth Angel Media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor-producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Soul Decodes. Join us as we wander off the path to find the ideas that fascinate. We talk about spirituality, the mind, the ego, wellness, and hidden history with tips, travels, and tales. Charms for a better life.
Sarah Tirri, once again, welcome back.
Again.
It feels like forever since I've seen you, but I'm just glad to see you.
Yes.
Thanks. Welcome to Phillips Island.
Thank you. I love being here.
I want to put closure on a few things we talked about last episode,
let's do it.
but I want to give you the ball first. Just what's on your mind? What do you want to accomplish today on Soul Decodes?
Decoding the importance of a vision. So you and I mentioned on a previous episode that we both have a very big vision for our lives. I think that might be a nice, interesting topic.
I love it.
Okay, so do you want me to go first or you go first?
Okay, so...
Or should we toss a coin?
Well, I actually want you to go first. However, I'm going to because mine is all about putting some closure on the previous.
Nice, okay,
so let's just close up some because as I thought about things we covered last episode, I just felt like I wanted to share some of the things I do related to water and why I feel the way I do about water. We don't have to go deep dive into it, but because there's just so much. It would take me like 10 hours to get into water. But I do feel that the information is very relevant to people to understand the value of water. And then once we close that, then you go with your stuff, okay? Because I love it, because it's basically the same conversation. Water's kind of a carrier for knowledge and information.
Yes, it's fascinating.
But you're
glad we spoke about
You're going to be talking about consciousness on top of the water, which is great. Yeah. So, but I want to show you, first of all, here at Phillips Island, I've got multiple sources of water. I've got my well water, which
I can see the pond from here.
I've got 2 acres of surface water, but I've got well water, which is just pumped up from the ground.
Do you filter it?
I've got a reverse osmosis for that. But then I've got water that I actually purchase. It's purified water. It's not cheap, but it's not expensive. And I have it brought here, and then I process it after I get it. So
what do you do with it after you get it?
Multiple things.
Oh, really?
So I encourage everyone to have a pressed carbon filter. Like I use a Berkey filter.
So I have Culligan. I have to ask them. You'll have to text me that. Pressed carbon filter. I need to know that.
Well, you always want to know where your water's been, where it comes from.
Well, it's been under it's a well, and I'm out in Florida in the aquifer, in the green swamp. So I'm assuming it's pretty good quality water.
Yeah, and again, I can't say because I don't know them. But
you're in the swamp.
Well, thank you. I've been called worse. I'm a swamp creature. So, but like once the water's in the home and I've filtered it, and I've got multiple, like in the kitchen, when you go down there, you'll see that there's several vats. I've got my water that I pour into copper. It's pure copper. Copper water is amazing.
So it's like colloidal silver, but with copper.
Correct.
Yes.
See, the water...
What does copper do that silver doesn't then? Or is it the same? Is it just a metal you put through it? Because colloidal silver was... It got rid of a horrible staph infection in my dog. He was going to have his leg amputated.
I use colloidal silver a lot for different things. I've got spray, I've got gel, I've got nano. I used to use colloidal silver all the time, but now I have a proprietary nano silver that's a much, much smaller surface area, so it can touch more of the cellular membrane.
Well, I had a dog, Wolfie, and he had this horrible staph infection. He was on endless rounds of antibiotics. I was injecting, the vet gave me the injections. I was injecting straight into the wound for 3 weeks, and they said, Mrs. Tirri, this is an amputation. And I'd have probably had him put to sleep. And Sandy, who you've met, she's my housekeeper, she gave me this colloidal silver, and within 24 hours, I could see the wound shrink.
Absolutely.
It blew my mind.
Yeah,
it was.
I see this.
But that was with silver, and you're talking about copper, so...
Well, colloidal silver, I mean, in a perfect world, I would go with the silver, but
Right.
not everybody can afford it.
So copper's a little bit less.
Copper is very similar. It's got slightly different mechanisms of action, but very similar. It's going to help purify and structure the water. So I use copper, but I also use silver. So I use both. If you look inside the big vat that I've got, if you look behind it, I've actually got some sacred geometries. The water loves art. Water's very, very responsive to arts and designs and sacred geometries and things. There's also, I've got in the water itself, I've got rose quartz.
Oh.
Rose quartz in the water.
Wow.
Because I want the water to feel beautiful. And this is my gift to the water. This sounds really crazy. It sounds ridiculous.
It doesn't to me, because I've been following this path for 25 years. None of this is crazy. And I have a massive great amethyst next to my bed. And I love being connected to that. I look at it at nighttime. So I get this whole crystal thing. I don't wear jewelry or crystals particularly, but I do believe that there's beauty linked to them. So I think it's you're honoring. You're honouring beauty.
And so I know there's religious people.
And is there energy in crystals then, like there is? Do you believe in
there's
that?
Resonance.
There's resonance.
Remember, everything's got a resonant frequency.
Yeah.
Crystals, the beautiful part of crystals is that they don't change their resonance very easily. Right. They have a resonance and they are literally solid as a rock. They have this resonance and it's there. So we'll talk about that later, but back to the water.
So you've got crystals in there and it's copper?
I've got... not crystals, but I do have. Well, there is crystals in it. The rose quartz is a crystal, right?
Okay, yeah.
Now I've also got the blue. I got the cobalt blue vase. Inside of that is where I put a few drops of iodine and a few drops of ocean water. It's purified. It's like plasma. It's got the same mineral composition as plasma. Healthy plasma.
Right.
So, but it's from the ocean. It's like 400 meters down, and I use a few drops of that.
Did you dive down to get it yourself, or did you have it shipped?
I would have been like crushed. But then I have inside of that what looks like a crystal. It's actually pure silica. That's been in one of your neighbors. Actually, one of your neighbors who lives right there down the road from you.
What is it? What is silica?
Well, this is basically it's a man-made crystal, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's a man-made crystal, but it's been infused with what's called 0-point energy, and it's effectively putting sunlight into the water to let the water, even though it's not in the direct sunlight, it's energetically going to have the same impact as beautiful fresh sun has on a flowing stream. So whether or not what I share with you is factual and accurate, which it is.
But you're going to say it's about your belief in this, right? Well, do you believe this is healing? And is that going to be...
My beliefs are not relevant.
The belief in this water, is it a question of it? You believe this is going to be healthy, so it is, that your consciousness is going to understand this to be a very healing moment. There's a lot of gratitude in it. There's a lot of beauty in it.
Right.
So, and then this somehow... interfaces with your consciousness?
Well, everything's a two-way street, right? So I've got my consciousness taking care of the water. There's a lot. Yeah. So I'm literally giving the
nurturing it.
I'm nurturing the water, and everything's a cycle. Like if I take care of the soil in my garden, and I feed the soil gives it gives a beautiful cacophony of all of these fungus and bacteria. It's an entire ecosystem. Yes. Then if I put a plant in that soil, it thrives because the metabolic byproduct from those bacteria and fungus.
I can see they're thriving. Those banana ones out.
So now you have this tomato. This plant grows, produces a tomato, and you taste it. You're like, this is crazy. This is unlike any tomato I've ever had before.
Wow.
That's what happens. If we change our ecosystem, which is our body, our plasma, our water, our consciousness, if you put these things together, and it's been said that all things work together for good.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
For those who love God and work according to God's purpose. Yeah. Well, let's take that apart a little bit. And I know there's religious people listening to that and say, that damn Dr. Phillips is taking apart the Word of God or whatever. It's like,
please.
You know what?
Yeah, I've been accused of
my
that.
My interpretation is it's very much Essianic.
Right.
So I share with you about the water, and you ask me questions about my beliefs. My belief is that we are surrounded by anything we summon to ourselves and it's configured in a way that best serves us. The question is,
Love that.
Are we willing? Are you in a place where you're willing and able to receive the infinite gifts?
Yeah, quite. It's a
Most
good
people
question.
don't.
No.
They're
not aware of the existence and the abundance and the availability of it because they've been steered in a different direction.
Correct. So I brought these few books. We don't have to address them now, but
What's the titles?
well, this one, okay, I like this one. This was a gift to me. This girlfriend of mine, I helped her with her family with some health issues.
Yes.
And people do that. Like I help them for free and they give me gifts.
I know.
I was like,
I bought you a book once.
I know you did.
It's great.
You gave me 4 books. Dear.
Yes, but I gave you one that I got from my library because I went into my library and I wanted to bring you a gift. And I heard him, I can't remember the number sequence that I heard in my head, but it was shelf 4A to cross. And it was to do with her. It was right up your street.
So
it was
beautiful,
perfect.
Yeah. So what happens is, it's funny because people want to pay me, and I haven't taken money for like 3 years
That's
from
so
anybody.
lovely.
But they want to pay me, and I'm like, your money doesn't spend. God pays me directly.
Nice.
And they look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah,
but I'm like, you're.
Yeah.
Why would I take your money?
You
which
reap
is
what you sow. You're going to be living in abundance. You've got onto an idea which is so sophisticated and so superior. They can't understand it because they would take money, but everything's going to be supplied to you. So you haven't got to grab at anything.
Well, it's funny because like even in front of my property, I told Robin, I said, I think the front of the property, we should have some Loquat trees because they grow
nice.
in Florida and stuff.
Lovely.
And the next day, I had helped a girlfriend move. And the next day, her helper came by and he had his pickup. He says, he was a Hispanic fellow. He says, Miss Jolie, would you like some Loquats?
That is unbelievable.
And I needed 20, but he had 12. But the idea that
Sacred number 12.
The next number.
That's nuts. The fact that he just showed up.
He just showed up. He was there to help her because I was helping her too. But the point is...
And had he heard that you were looking for a Loquat? So this was...
completely random.
See, that just blows my fucking mind.
Now, I've come to expect it.
Yeah.
I had this friend of mine had stage 4 kidney disease. He was on a transplant list. 6 weeks later, he's down to stage 2. He's off the transplant list.
Beautiful.
He wants to pay me. I'm like, your money doesn't spend here. This is a gift. If you pay me, it takes away the gift aspect of what I did.
I agree.
So
it makes it more vulgar. You don't need to do that.
So you know what he did? He brought me, he's a landscaper, he brought me a rainbow eucalyptus tree.
Really?
It's right there in the center of my driveway.
I'm going to have to look at it when I leave.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
But now, I'll take that as a gift.
I saw a picture of a rainbow eucalyptus.
They're stunning.
Wow, how lovely.
So back to these books.
Look how blessed you are. That's amazing. And that's because you're giving, and it's lovely, and it totally, reality is structured like that.
It is.
This is how God designed it. Giving is receiving. It's the same bloody thing.
But a lot of times we think we want the dollar. We think we want the $150 an hour.
Well, you know what money will do and what it won't do. You've arrived at that position.
Yeah.
A lot of people think money will make you happy. Okay.
No.
And it just comes from a whole nother sphere in your mind.
But it's your happiness makes the money.
Yes.
Money doesn't make you happy. Your happiness makes the money.
Yeah.
Because you become a magnet for it.
I know.
Because the money is just a tool. You can use it for evil. You can use it for good. But if you're that person that can have a complete, like with my band, a complete shit sandwich handed to you, and you can say, "Oh man, no, thank you. I've got these wonderful condiments I'm going to eat instead," or whatever. You can take this most negative, hideous thing and still find the goodness.
Yeah, don't react to it.
Don't give it life.
Flush it.
Don't give it life.
Flush it. Yeah.
So I'll show you these later, but the Christians have 4 Gospels.
Okay.
And they're Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? Mm-hmm. And they've been maybe modified or twisted or misinterpreted or whatever. This is 4 Gospels. It's a set of Gospels called the Gospel of Peace. There's 4 volumes.
Is this in the Bible? This? Are you talking about the Gospels in the Bible, or you're talking about these aren't in the canon of the Bible?
There's not, because there's like
so you have the Apocrypha.
There's hundreds.
The Apocrypha is all the books that didn't get into the Bible. So this is one of them.
I'm not that smart. You would know that, but I just know this is one that was not included.
Yes,
whether it was not in the Apocrypha or not.
Yeah,
I don't
you've got
know.
the Gospel of Thomas as well. That wasn't included.
Philip,
Mary Magdalene, that wasn't included.
They're beautiful Gospels.
They found them somewhere, didn't they?
All over. They're still finding them. Yeah. But this is what's called the Essene, the Essene Gospel of Peace. There's 4 volumes, but I just want you to read.
Okay.
Because I love your voice.
All right.
Do you
yes.
But if you would read this, now everybody knows about Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount. and the Our Father, and this is how you pray to your God, and all this stuff. I don't want to put you on the spot to read.
I'm fine. Put me on the spot, baby.
But I think that if you read this slowly
All right.
and thoughtfully.
Okay. I'm going to read it once first.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So for those listening, you have to count to 30.
So while she's doing that, I just want to let you know that everybody.
Okay, I can. This is fine. So I'll start it now.
You're a quick reader. That paragraph would have taken me about a month. So.
And after this manner, pray to your earthly mother, our mother, which art upon earth, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done in us as it is in thee. And thou sendeth every day thy angels, send them to us also. Forgive us of our sins as we atone all our sins against thee. And lead us not into sickness, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the earth, the body, and the health. Amen. Wow, that is a much better take on the original, isn't it?
Isn't that?
Well, it's Our Father which art in heaven.
But that's the previous one. The previous paragraph is the Our Father.
Okay, so this one I love.
Well, they're both together because.
But I only read out the bottom.
The first one is the Our Father.
Yeah, the Our Father.
But they completely chunked this one out. They completely chunked out the reference to our mother.
It's the first time I've ever. So that's great. Yeah.
So I just bring that up because this is forbidden.
Yes.
If you would have
talked, you would have
been killed by
some horrible mob of men hating your power.
Well, and this is the Gospel of Peace talks not only about our Earth Mother and the Earth Angels, but also talks about our relationship with the animals, with the food.
This is in here?
It all goes in here. This was so beautiful. I literally cried every day.
Did you really?
I didn't buy this for myself. No. I helped a girlfriend with her family, and
it was meant for you.
She gifted this. She says,
you knew it was meant
Tia
for
Jolie,
you.
this book is you.
Yeah.
And I read it, and I bawled like a baby.
Yeah.
So there's that. And you can look at this later, but this is the miracle of water.
Okay, cool.
And this is, it's got pretty pictures in it, but I mean, you can look at this and these are different pictures. And for those of you listening,
they look like snowflakes, don't they? The composition of the molecule.
What Dr. Emoto did was took water from the identical same source of water, put drops on, basically took identical water into two different rooms, had one group of students. He told these students, this water is evil, it's nasty, it's the worst water.
Placebo.
You should hate this water.
God.
And then he took this other water and said, this is life-saving water, it's beautiful, it's the best water in the world, we should give gratitude.
Yes.
Took the same water, double-blind, randomized, tested the water. What he did was put drops, looked at the crystals, and what you're seeing is the results.
The people that believed that it was crappy water and the people believed it was beautiful.
Right. So if you look at the results, just expressing gratitude to the water changes
it from this to this.
Correct.
Gosh.
So it's the same.
We need actually to get some photography.
It's the same water. You can find these online anywhere.
Right. We need to put a link to that because that's incredible.
But this water,
the water looks like a piece of jewelry.
This is just bless the water,
geometry, right?
So what's interesting is now we have this what's called the fourth phase of water. People are learning about the water. Doesn't just show up as H2O. H2O is the average, but water is never as H2O. The water and hydrogen share. They're like a little village. You can be as little as H12O6. All right, so it's the ratio, right? Or it can go to H60. 030. So it goes from a small family. It's like a family to a village, but the water cooperates. And when the water is close to like a membrane, like if you look at a cellular membrane, the water, the first four layers closest to the membrane, they actually cooperate. The water understands that this is precious living organism, this cell. And what happens is the water closest to the membrane surrenders its electrons outward.
Oh.
And then it creates a barrier, an electromagnetic barrier, almost like people would say the Van Allen radiation belt. It creates a barrier that helps the cell protect itself. So the water recognizes this is a precious living thing.
And recognizes its own role.
And it knows that, hey, this is, it gathers around and it structures itself. This is called structured water. And There's Dr. Stephanie Seneff. She's the lead research scientist at MIT. She's recognizing the value of structured water.
But what you're saying about the placebo effect, I think we touched on that in a previous podcast, because you were describing your water that you've got downstairs and you were describing what's in it. And I made the comment that, is this about how you perceive the water? So the belief in this experiment was, this water is going to be horrible and it's nasty, this is going to be good. And then the consciousness of the person drinking the water changed the appearance of the water itself. So this was the placebo effect. This was in the mind of the observer.
Right. It's the appearance and the function.
And the function.
What they're finding, there's a professor out in Washington State. I want to say his name's Walter Russell, but I don't think that's it.
It'd be great if it was Walter.
It wasn't
Walter.
Walter. But I got to think of his name. But in fact, I have his cell phone number.
We can put that up on post-production.
I have his cell phone number. I don't even remember his name.
Let's call him.
So terrible. And call him up. But he's got this term that he calls EZ water, which is exclusion zone water. Oh. And what happens is that barrier that's against the membrane, it's actually, he looks at it with an electron microscope and he can see this magnetic gradient that the water created. And so if you have an ionized particle that doesn't belong in the cell, this easy, it's like a magnetic repulsion. It pushes the molecule away to protect the cell. So I think that now a lot of people are like, oh, this is woo-woo way out there.
Well, it just sounds like the body is regulating itself. This doesn't sound woo-woo at all. The body is designed to be healthy, and it has very, very specific mechanisms. So this doesn't sound woo-woo.
So I share this information just to give perspective, and just like when I have my new clients, and I just challenge them to question everything.
Yeah.
And that includes all of the people that say, oh, water's water, whatever, just drink water. No, question it.
Yeah. I think I sent you a quote. It was a couple of months ago, and it was by Nietzsche. And I need to see if I can get this right. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike rather than those who think differently.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
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 We need to post that too.
We should. Yeah.
But okay, so anyway.
So question everything.
That was my question everything. So that was my kind of, that was a long closure, but I studied water for a long time, and it's just fascinating. Yeah. So I just wanted.
And you're consuming this water that you're. Yeah, and that's what I'm drinking now.
You're drinking.
I mean, you look fabulous.
Oh, yeah,
you've got great energy.
Totally.
And why wouldn't water be important?
It totally is.
Yeah.
You're drinking right now. Like science would have you believe that a right-handed laboratory-produced vitamin C molecule is the same as what you get from those lemons from my garden, because that's a quarter of a lemon in that water I gave you.
Oh, nice.
That vitamin C that I gave you is a left-handed molecule, holds twice as many electrons as the lab produced, plus it's got a bunch of decorations on it. It looks like a little Christmas tree with decorations. Those are called methyl groups. They're polyphenols that hang on them. Those methyl groups, as you consume them in your water, they help modulate your DNA, your genetic expression. They look like carbons with 3 hydrogens. Those are.
And when you mean modulate, what do you mean by modulate?
Well,
you mean keep it functioning healthily?
Correct. Yeah. Bringing a balance. So people, right, okay. I get people all the time, oh, I'm going to have breast cancer because my mom did, and my mom did, and her mom, and her mom, and her mom. Generations of breast cancer. It's like, stop.
You're right.
Stop. Yeah. You're undermethylated. If you're
undermethylated,
meaning you're not getting enough methyl groups from plants from the garden or from nutrients that are methylated. Because a lot of people take things, they go to some store. And
what are methylated nutrients? I mean, would that be in a beetroot? Anything that's organically grown is going to have some.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have some things from the garden that are fresh, they're not cooked. I'm a plant-based eater.
Yes,
so
that's right.
A lot of things from the garden, virtually everything from the garden's got.
And obviously you don't use any herbicides or pesticides.
Zero.
This is all just organic, isn't it?
It's a pain in the butt pulling all those weeds and stuff.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if it produces you and you're healthy and vibrant, I mean, that's what we should be doing. I mean, we're being poisoned.
I'm taking care of the earth.
Yesterday, I was so hungry. I was moving my mother-in-law and my son bought me a Big Mac and I thought, I'm going to eat this. And I ended up throwing it out the window. Then I felt really bad because I thought I'm just going to poison some coyote that's going to pick this up.
You're such a sweet person.
And I couldn't get my head around eating that. So I'm getting more plant-based. I mean, I'm doing a little bit of fish, and I feel much better.
You look beautiful. Your skin is vibrant.
Better.
You look great. A lot of people, and I'll close with this, and then we'll go to your stuff, because I totally want to hear what you want to cover today. But a lot of people come to me and say, Dr. Phillips, I want to have prettier collagen, and they think that they need to eat collagen in order to have collagen. That's not the way it works.
Right.
If you eat structured water from melons and berries and grapes and things from the vine, that water is beautifully structured. It's properly mineralized. And in order to synthesize collagen in your skin, first of all, it's not just your skin. Like 90% of your body's connective tissues is collagen.
Right.
So you have to have collagen to have properly functioning organs, right? Mm-hmm. So you need collagen. It's not just your skin.
Yeah, your brain as well. That's your biggest organ and the most, powerful. So collagen's going to be, necessary for every organ.
And with your brain, it's more fat. Like you need lipids that are stable and they're not going to ionize or they're not going to oxidize easily. So
all this information that you're sharing with me, we can send the listener to your website. Is all this laid out? Because it's very, very pertinent to wanting to lead a spiritual existence. You've got to take care of your temple.
Yeah, and truly, but there's not just me. There's so many beautiful doctors out there.
Right. So we'll put links to them.
Not medical doctors, but I'm just saying holistic doctors.
Yeah. We don't need any chemicals. The planet Earth supplies all our needs. And I absolutely believe that.
There is a time where, very, very limited time, where there's something that medicine can do that.
Well, I had antibiotics about 6 weeks ago, and it was just a 5-day course.
Right.
And so I was fine with that. I mean, I go to the doctor if I need to.
Right.
So it's not like it's we avoid it at all costs. But I think the preventive side of it is living a spiritually healthy life and honouring the temple, and doing that the way that you do is makes so much sense to me.
And so thank you. So, when I look at your skin, it looks amazing. And so as we do more and more things from the earth.
Well, when I was in Colorado last week, I was sunbathing outside on my terrace, and it was pretty cold, but I had this little concave that I was in, and then the sun was bouncing off the snow, and I could feel, and I did 30 minutes, and I loved it. I felt absolutely rejuvenated. So I got a bit of a tan on my face.
You look beautiful. So what's going on is that the sun is not just one frequency, it's all frequencies.
Oh my.
The sun is all frequencies. There's certain frequencies hit your skin. Those are the infrared spectrum, and it stops right at your skin or just slightly subdermal. And those interact with your, they help you synthesize melatonin and things like that. But then there's other things that go...
that makes that... I've been sleeping very well since I've been back from Colorado. So that's melatonin. You can get that as a sleep aid, can't you?
There's melatonin and then there's melanin. So
what are you talking about? Melanin?
I should have said melanin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But melatonin is actually from digestive health, a precursor to melatonin. And I'll probably get notes and messages about this, but you synthesize serotonin in your gut. So if you have good gut motility, you're eating lots of plant fibers, you're going to go to the bathroom, you're going to poop every day, at least once, maybe twice. Yeah. And what happens is serotonin S1 configuration is the one that squeezes the poop out of your butt. That's called motility. That's your gastrointestinal motility. Once, if you ever go to the bathroom, like a really good one, and right after you're done, you feel terrific.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone feels like that. You feel relief in a way, don't you?
So the serotonin in your gut's done with its job. It squeezed the poop out.
Right.
And it gets sent back into your circulation. I think
also a lot of water helps you to be regular as well, because they say that if you're constipated, it's because you're dehydrated.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
The serotonin, when it's done doing its work, gets released back into your bloodstream. And then tonight, when it comes time for sleeping, the serotonin that you used to
now has another function?
Well, it gets reconfigured. It goes from an S1, it's turned into tryptophan.
Oh, wow.
Then it goes through the blood-brain barrier into an S2 configuration, and that becomes the precursor for your melatonin, which is going to help you sleep. So just being able to poop a couple times a day.
It's a huge deal.
It's connected.
Yeah.
So when I have people that come to me and they say, "Oh, I can't sleep at night," one of the first questions is, are you getting fresh air and sunshine? Mm-hmm. How often are you pooping?
Yeah.
How many plants do you eat in a day?
Yes.
I mean, these are it's no accident these things help you sleep better.
And every human being knows this, right? I bought this Big Mac yesterday, and I just thought, I'm just going to have. I don't have fast food, maybe once in a while, and I couldn't bring and I was quite happy about that.
Wow, that's great.
But a lot of people, we go to Publix, and I walk. We share the same Publix down in Groveland. I'm sure you go in there, and I just look. This is a poison factory,
truly,
and it looks beautiful, and there's piped music, and all the staff are very helpful, and someone takes your groceries. I mean, this is an experience. But I started to walk down the cereal aisle, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's just poison. And I'm happy that I'm over the hump of really enjoying all that, because I now see it as poison.
Well, many, like the things that we eat in the United States,
so
if you go to Europe,
is sugar poison?
Yes, cytotoxic. Sugars are cytotoxic generally. If you're going to have sugar, make sure it's attached to the fiber. So
raspberries or pineapple or something.
If you give me a handful of grapes, the grapes that you give me are very different than the M&Ms that you give me. Like there's a thing called a glycemic index. Well, they might have the handful of grapes and the handful of M&Ms might have the identical amount of sugar. Science will say it's the same glycemic index. But the way your body responds is very different.
Yeah,
if the sugar's attached to the fiber, it's a slow release formula. Whereas because when I look at the grapes, my body's got this index and says, oh, there's a grape. I know exactly how much sugar I need. My pancreas prepares me. My saliva is designed for fruits and vegetables.
Right.
It won't even touch meat, but it's designed for fruits and vegetables. By the time I masticate and chew...
Why do we have all these big teeth then, these molars? If we're just chewing a grape, why is our mouth designed with these chompers?
I mean, that's a flat surface that's perfect for pulverizing grapes.
I guess it is, isn't it? You're just masticating grapes. We can also chew through meat,
so there's
pork and
there's
stuff.
A lot of... Well, I mean, you could...
So back in the day, so let's go back 300,000 years. So you were probably eating an animal, cooking that on a fire, and then eating whatever you found foraging. Everyone was foraging.
Well, I mean, that's the story.
Oh, okay. So but do you think we were foraging more nuts and berries rather than killing animals?
Let's look at that. You just nailed it, because a lot of people would like us to believe there were hunter-gatherers.
You hear that term all the time.
Well, you hear it all the time. You hear it enough, and then you start to believe it.
Yeah.
But we're really gatherers. Hunters, we gathered, we foraged.
Foraging, yeah.
There's so much abundance.
Yeah.
There's literally so much abundance.
Where would you get your protein then if you weren't eating animal back then, or do we need that much protein?
Well, I mean, I get my protein.
That would be in pulses and in lentils and in legumes, right?
I get my protein in the same place your protein sources gets their protein. So. When you look at the most powerful animals,
300,000 years ago, where were they getting their protein if it wasn't from animals?
Starches, legumes.
Right, so that what was growing, mushrooms.
Starches, legumes, mushrooms. Believe it or not, like you could even eat a melon. Melon's got protein in it. Yeah. It's not much, but it's got enough. What you're going to find as you study it is that we have seasons, and the seasons are going to produce different things that you need based on where you are, based on what your requirements are. So if you're going into the hot summer, you're going to need hydration and minerals. And so you're going to have a lot of melons and things like that are juicy fruits. Mm-hmm. So like if I'm going to work on the farm for 8 hours in the morning, I'll eat an entire watermelon myself, structured water with minerals. Yeah. And I'll just go and go. And it's not a thing. But in the fall, you don't need that in the fall. It's going to be cooler. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be growing and doing those things. Mm-hmm. So you're going to find more, you're going to find squashes, you're going to find things that are
cucumbers,
like different. Yes. It's going to be a different profile depending on where you live. In Michigan, it's different. In Washington State,
I've been
Hawaii.
eating beets recently because I've had anemia all my life and I didn't like taking the iron supplements because they made me constipated. So beets, in one little beet, it has like 10% iron. So I bought them in a jar and just drained them and washed them. But I'm now going to buy my own beets and have that because that's what I need is iron.
We just planted beets for this our spring crop.
I want to try one when they're ripe.
I'm going to gift you beets. So
bountiful beets.
If people are anemic, I like to talk to them about their blood, and I would encourage you to eat leafy green vegetables.
Yes,
dark.
Yes, I do that. I eat just raw spinach.
The chlorophyll is going to be awesome for you.
Great.
The chlorophyll, your body pulls the magnesium out, which helps you sleep better, and it's got 400 different things. But then also it plugs in the iron. So as long as you have copper water, as long as you have copper, the iron's going to be absorbed very nicely.
So can you buy copper water on the market, or have you got to make it yourself? Because
you probably can buy anything, but it's so easy to just put it in there. I let it sit overnight. And then it's just the traces to out. You don't need a ton.
So when you mean a bit of copper, you just put a bit of copper and with a wire and you just stick it in there overnight?
No, dear, it's a carafe.
It's a what?
It's a carafe. It's a copper vase, a vase.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about a copper structure that you stick in the water?
No, dear, it's the vase itself. It's a copper vase.
Copper vase.
It's a pouring pitcher.
And that's what the water's in?
100% copper, and it's just...
I've got a copper duck. It's not a vase.
Okay, well, fill your duck. So anyway, we talked about water way more than I wanted to,
I think it's very interesting. I think that,
but it really is, because structured water is going to be a thing, and I think that it's important that we recognize that we are water.
Well, I think what we should do is start a business. I think we sell copper water, right? And not necessarily sell it, just give it to people. And if you teach me how to make it, then I'll do that. And because I think we talked on the last episode about the power of colloidal silver. I told you about my dog.
Colloidal silver is excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We'll have to talk about doing something like that, because that might be a real healing thing that people don't know about. They can come to my gate and I'll supply it in a big bucket.
A big bucket. So I know we're on a short time frame because you've got a Claremont. So the rest of the time is yours. You had some things you wanted to cover.
Yeah, but that's going to take too long.
For real?
Yes, real. I'm going to have to introduce that on the next one. No, you didn't mess me up. No, you have to go with the flow. Talk about water. We just go with the conversation.
Nice segue. Well,
but that's good, though, because it's quite a big one, the next one we talk about, because I'd like to talk about the vision you have for your life and the vision I have for my life, how that came about and how we manifest.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So how much more time do you want today?
We can wrap up if you like. Are we good?
It's totally up to you.
It's going to be a little shorter show.
Okay.
I can go to my appointment.
Okay.
Am I going to take some water with me?
Okay. Well, let me just tell one more little anecdote about something.
Good.
It's again, I'm putting closure on a bunch of stuff.
Nice. Good.
But a few episodes ago, I had shared with you this about my band, right? My former band, and I just wanted to share with you about Sister Karma, Queen Karma, if you will. But my former guitar player got back from Vegas and said he and his wife wanted to meet us for dinner.
Okay.
So I'm always open.
He was the guy that fired you?
No. The guitar player is awesome.
Okay, the guitar player wanted to meet you for dinner, not the guy that was
lead singer.
dick.
The lead singer is the guy.
The guy that was instrumental in that.
So, and pretty much the whole band.
So this is a bandmate.
So this is a former bandmate, and he told me the backstory.
Oh.
There's more.
Well, what
pretty
was
much the band mutinied. Like the whole band left. I told you that. But they want to reform a band.
With you?
With me. That's the exact same band, the exact same players, without the problem child in front of the microphone.
So it's not going to be called...
Don't say the word.
Can't do that. I'll tell you that off mic. So what name do you have for it?
Well, we're not going to do that music.
Are you going to name your band?
Well, I don't even know that I'm going to do it.
Oh, really?
I'm just sharing with you that the hug, the emotional hug I got from him and from the rest of the band
validated.
Was very, very, it was moving to me.
Nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Because they recognized that the way this transpired was totally not fair. It was not even called for.
Well, they don't want to be around that type of energy. They want to remove themselves from that.
They asked me to take them off the website.
Yeah.
They literally moved. But
I feel sorry for the guy that did all this, because it's a losing streak. He's going to suffer, and that's really bad. But his ego got a hold of him.
Yeah.
It really got a hold of him, and it's really difficult. I've had to battle my ego all my life, and it used to lead me around by the nose, and I've got a hold of that now. But that was a process, and I'm in my late 50s. So just to send out some love to him. And karma will come. But it's not even karma, it's energy. People talk about karma as if everything's karma, but it's the vibrational energy you're putting out. You will attract your own vibration. So all this guy is doing is attracting his petty level vibration. And what he's going to attract isn't going to be what he wants. Well, but it's not an issue of karma, it's an issue of his vibratory rate.
That's fascinating. I love your assessment right there, because that's exactly the sense I got. Because these musicians are very well balanced. They're beautiful people. They're absolutely beautiful, spiritual, soulful people. And I think they recognized that this was an imbalance. This was a very imbalanced situation. It was not fair. It was not correct. And so he pulled me.
But your recommendations were so nicely, but I know you well enough to know that you're gentle, sweet, and you offer advice. And his ego just didn't want that, and it's just,
And what's interesting is it wasn't just me. I came to find out with this dinner that every person in the band felt the same way.
Yeah.
And so I just share that story, not to bring up dirt or anything like that, because
But I'm glad that you got together with all your bandmates. It was nice that they recognised.
It was such a good feeling.
Yes, it must have been.
It felt like a big...
Because it would have been a bit of a blow.
A big hug.
Yeah, and now you just got the validation, and now you can have another band. I'm going to think of band titles for you. I'll run them past you on the next podcast.
Well, so let's close up with this. I want to just wrap up and just tell us what we can look forward to with respect to your radio station, specifically the music. Is that
it's
something?
rock and roll.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not rap and hip hop, but every other category you can actually extract rock into that.
What would it look like if I said to you, okay, I'm going to get these epic, state-of-the-art, beautiful musicians and create a band?
Yeah.
Right? And what would that band, what would the function be? Where would we play? Because we have a blank slate of paper. They have literally told me that if I lead them into a new band, that they will be there.
Well, that is a huge question. Let me think about that. Let's make that. We'll talk about that on air next time. And that's a great idea.
And I'm not sure I want to do it.
No, but you don't have to commit to anything. But we're just talking about ideas.
But just ideas, because I've got other bands looking for me too.
I'm looking for you. You'll be on my station.
So, why don't you close us out and maybe give a preview? How do you say it in British?
Prelude.
Prelude.
No prelude.
No prelude.
None at all. No.
Okay, we're just going to show up and do it again.
We're going to show up and do it again. It's been wonderful talking to you.
I love having you here. You're precious.
Been great.
Right. Be well. See you later.
You too. Thank
you. Soul Decodes, a feature presentation, airs every Friday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Soul Decodes is sponsored and produced by Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Pure will make your world better.
Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skincare, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in a physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Soul Decodes listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/Sarah Tirri and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner at livepure.com/Sarah Tirri, or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.